Munchy, what we tell him?
I am Miss Munchy.
Miss Munch! Are you run the thing, so watch you now?
You know me, I say Munchy.
Yellow Munchy.
Wha Gwaan Munchy.
Yes, Reggaeville family, I warmly welcome you to another episode of Wha Gwaan Munchy, and especially I cordially welcome Kelissa, the singer, the lioness, the ambassador to this episode. Kelissa, how are you doing?
I'm good, Munchy, give thanks. It's good to be here, you know, in your country for a change.
That's what I was saying. Cordially welcome to Europe. You just came a few days ago to go on tour with the Dread and Terrible tour together with your brethren, Sing Fence Redemption, Dre Island, Chronixx. So how are the Dread and Terrible adventures going so far?
It's good. I mean, we only just begun tonight. It's the second show, you know, and we couldn't really ask for more. You know, we have a bus, which is a great space for us to be living while we're on the road. And like I said, we're brothers and we're sisters, so everything good. I'm looking forward to the rest of the journey, you know?
Nice. How was Amsterdam last night?
Amsterdam was a good show. Yeah, man, the vibe was nice. The people, them love it, you know?
Yeah, I heard it was a great turnout. A lot of people came.
Yeah, man, it was a good turnout. The venue did well full up. Nice. So, yeah, man, go on good.
And it's the first time that you're touring in Europe now, so are you excited to share the music with the people personally now for the first time? And would you say there's a special message you want to carry as you can share it with them now personally, or a special vibe?
Most definitely. I mean, you know, the intention is always to bring forth positive messages to uplift, you know, the consciousness of the people, and not just with lyrics but also with the music, you know, because as you know, reggae music is like a spirit. So when we're playing the music, even if we're not singing, you know, we can see the upliftment of the people happening. So it's important to get that face-to-face connection with the people, you know, not just hearing it on the radio or hearing it on a CD. So it works, and you know, like I said, I'm happy to be here with my brethren doing the work together and, you know, fulfilling the same mission.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of the brethren, for one, Chronixx is not just the Dread and Terrible tour, but it's also the Dread and Terrible project, which is coming out on April 1st, 10 tracks, dub versions, big hits, brand new material. So it's really a lot they can look forward to. You love the EP, right?
It's nice. Some good tracks, and it's just some solid music, you know. His commentary is always good. You know, the things that him talk about in the music, you know, are always things that, you know, people would say maybe are like a revolutionary, but we need those things, you know. And music has a way of padding it, so it's not too it doesn't cause too much friction, you know. So it's a great project, and I'm saying some very necessary things and speaking on behalf of all the youths worldwide, you know, not just in Jamaica and the Caribbean. So I'm looking forward to the release, and I'm looking forward to what the response will be, you know, from the release. So
definitely. So you can check it out on iTunes. It's out there, the Dread and Terrible project. And another EP that is coming is from Raging Fyah. But let's ask the guys themselves. Wha Gwaan Demar and Combs.
Wha Gwaan Munchy. This is Raging Fyah representing Scene Wha Gwaan. Look out, Boarding Pass EP, Raging Fyah production, digital B, C.
And same speed, you can look out for Destiny album. It's coming at you.
Yes, I, Rastafari, more life, health and strength. Scene, Raging Fyah.
Destiny album coming later this year. For now, you can check out the 3-track EP, Boarding Pass, through Digital B, and one of the songs on the EP is Sunshine. Raging Fyah, as we heard a lot coming from them, Destiny album, Boarding Pass EP, and they will also put out a video for Jah Glory in April, so that's something you can stay tuned for in the next couple of weeks. And speaking of visuals, Kelissa, almost exactly a year ago, you put also out a wonderful visual, a music video for Africa. And I know the shooting took actually place in Africa. You were there with Donisha Prendergast and Michael Kushney. So please tell me a little bit about it. How was the journey and also the shooting like?
Well, the project was really is really a documentary that we worked on in Jamaica's 50th year of independence. I went with, like you said, Michael Kushney and Donisha Prendergast. They're two filmmakers. And we just wanted to, in the scope of Jamaica's independence, to kind of shed light on Africa, as a strong part of Jamaica's heritage. We find that there's not enough information available and there's not enough highlight of the different cultures of Africa. So we took a 50-day trip to Africa. We went to 6 countries. We were in Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Kenya, and South Africa. And while we were there, I did performances in each country, but we also shot a documentary on the arts and entertainment industries, in Africa. And we were basically just trying to see how the different countries, how the music industry is, how the film industry is, how the fashion industry is. And what we found out is that it's booming over there. Arts is booming, and we're just trying to figure out what we can learn so that we can help our industries in Jamaica as well. So we're still working on the documentary, and we're looking forward to putting it out and doing the follow-up on that work, Yeah.
But for you, it was not the first time going to Africa, right? Because you have been there on several occasions before. Please tell me a little bit.
Yes, I actually lived there with my family. I was in Tanzania for 3 years, and while I went to college in California, they moved to Ethiopia. So I had been to Ethiopia a few times, and then I did a study abroad program in Ghana. And I was there for about 6 to 8 months, and I was at the university in Legon in Ghana. And that was a nice experience. That was the most similar to Jamaica, I would say, because traveling around East Africa and then comparing it to West Africa, I think West Africa, the culture is more like Jamaican culture. So that was really nice for me to see and to make the connections, with like the Anansi stories, just a lot of different connections of the culture that we actually have in Jamaica, and they have it in Ghana, and yeah, man, it was a nice trip, and it was nice living there as well, So I got a chance to do living and traveling across some different countries in Africa, and it was a great learning experience. And that's, of course, is also a part of my mission, not just for it to be my experience, but to share it with the rest of the world through music and through art and all of that. Yeah.
I mean, we could talk a lot about Africa, but is there something that maybe you'd say was the most remarkable experience, whether it may be good or bad, but that influenced you the most when you were over there?
There's so many experiences. Africa is a very diverse place. We tend to think of Africa as this big landmass of just where them just speak African, but there are thousands of languages, there are thousands of different cultures that I didn't even get to see. Hundreds of countries, not even hundreds. There are like 50 odd countries in Africa, and each country is made up of like thousands of cultures and languages, So that really blew my mind, to see how diverse it is within each country, and just to see the lifestyle of the people over there. And it created a different connection for me in my mind, in my heart, and in my soul, especially growing up in a Rasta family and being able to actually make that trod, it was like a repatriation for us. And so just the whole experience in general was a great learning experience for me, and it kind of just solidified some of my beliefs, that I have, and made me learn so much more, prepared me for traveling the rest of the world, that's for sure.
Yes, I can imagine. And what I was just thinking, I mean, you probably have read a lot about Africa even before you went for the first time. You knew a lot about it. Did it really feel like a familiar place, even though you haven't been there when you went there for the first time?
For me, for my soul, it felt familiar. But for things that I learned intellectually, like being at school and learning about the slave trade, or learning about Africa on TV, it paints a very negative picture of Africa. And luckily I grew up in a Rasta family where, the image of Africa is a little more positive, and I went to school of dance growing up. And so we're exposed to, like African-inspired dance. So for me, in many ways, it was similar, but of course, it was nothing like I could ever imagine or even expect. Especially where it comes to the thousands of different languages and cultures. We don't really get exposed to that. So, it was different, and it was the same But really and truly, there's so much learning that happened for me when I went to Africa, and there's so much learning that people can do outside of the internet and outside of the TV. It's really more about an experience, and that was really a part of the mission of the documentary, is so that people get eyes into the culture over there, you know, and that they can experience through that medium.
And I mean, you also speak Swahili, right? Was it important? Yeah.
I speak. I'm not fluent.
Okay.
Yeah, but while I was there, I did it in school. But I can definitely get around. Like when I was there with Danisha and Michael, I was their tour guide in Tanzania and in Kenya. Yeah. You know, I could talk a little bit of Swahili. You know, najua Swahili kidogo. So yeah.
Okay. Was it important to you to like, let's say, not just visit, you know, or be a guest in a country, but to like become a part really of that, of the daily life, the culture, and all of that?
Of course, it's so important, you know, because as you're traveling through the country, especially on the tour that we did, you're always like an outsider, you know, because you don't speak the language, and you don't know much about the country yet. You don't know what is. And so it was important for me to have an experience to live there, because being in Tanzania for 3 years, you get to know the landscape, you get to know the people, you get to know the culture, the language on such a deep level, you know, and it feels it's my home, it's my second home. You know, when I went back there on the tour, it was nice because I got to visit old friends. Nice. So yeah, man, it a completely different experience than just visiting, you know. Yeah, man, it was nice.
And you can share some pieces of that experience in Kelissa's video Africa. And speaking of visuals, like this music video, Randy Valentine is also going to put out a brand new music video for his song Sound the Alarm from his upcoming EP Break the Chain. The video is coming out on April 4th, but just last night I got a tiny piece, so we can enjoy a little sneak peek of that video if we want. All right?
All right.
All right.
Sound the alarm. Run for cover. We're coming in one by one. And every day we run. Well, I said we're living in a mass confusion. Live it on the spiritual pollution. Tell them you can tell the revolutionary, but you could never ever tell the revolution. Oh.
Randy Valentine's video Sound the Alarm premiering on Reggaeville.com on April 4th, and the EP is coming up, Break the Chain, in May, so definitely can stay tuned to that. And we're still here with Kelissa, the singer, but she's not just the singer. You are very creative in general, you're productive in many fields. What else you do apart from the singing? Tell me.
Well, the singing and music is the main thing, you know. I like to describe myself as an artist in general, you know. I look a bit of graphic design. When I first came back to Jamaica after being away, you know, in Africa, I started a t-shirt line called Ambessa, and Ambessa means lion in Amharic, in the Ethiopian language Amharic. You know, and I make a jewelry sometimes, and I can't do it at a commercial level because obviously I don't have time for it. But it's something that I like to do when I have any free time. So yeah, that's crazy. And I'm, you know, like I said, I started out dancing. Yeah, right. So you know, I do a little bit of dancing as well. And as an artist, you know. Yeah.
And I mean, on stage we can always see you with the guitar. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not the only instrument you play, right?
I played drums. Like I played djembe while I was in Ghana and while I was in college. So I love percussions, I love the drums, and maybe that's from my experiences in Africa. I kind of fell in love with that instrument. But the guitar is, you know, is the main instrument other than my voice. Yeah. That's the first instrument.
And they go so well together. So
yeah, man, good thanks. Yes.
And you grew up in a very musical environment with your parents both being musicians. Were there sort of an inspiration for you to say, yeah, I want to do the same thing? Or how did this choice of career came about?
It really does happen naturally, you know. In terms of art, I started out as a dancer. You know, my parents used to send us to music classes every Saturday to Miss Lumsden. And I'd, you know, play xylophone, play a little piano, play recordo. And you know, I just grew up seeing them in the studio and watching them on stage, and I never really thought of myself as going to be a singer until maybe in my early teens when I started writing poetry and putting music on it, you know, and then it was a natural process. where I just continued writing the songs. And my parents kind of established a foundation, so I didn't really have to go looking outwards for a studio. It was right there. So when I was ready to do recording, my father did my first recording for me of a song that I would never play for anybody right now. Okay. But it was a start, you know. So yeah, man. So they set a foundation, you know. And although it wasn't something that I saw myself doing from the very beginning, I think it's natural, you know, that me and my brother Keznamde as well are now following in the footsteps of Chakula and Goldilocks, you know. So.
Exactly. And you started as doing music at a very early age already, right? With a music group, the Rainbow Rhythms.
Yes.
How was that?
That was from the same classes, from the Sepcial classes with Miss Lumsden. Rainbow Rhythms is something else I did with all of my brothers and my sisters. We all did that growing up, you know, and after the classes at the end of the term, we'll have a performance where, you know, we'll perform what we did. But that was...
How old were you by then?
I was young. I was like a bit, you know, I was young. I don't remember what age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was a joy.
But it was a part of the journey, you know, and it's influenced why I'm here today. Yeah, man.
And speaking of the xylophone, did you play the xylophone on Africa as well yourself?
Yes, I actually did. I did a class while I was studying in Ghana. I did traditional xylophone over there, and I learned some of the traditional songs. And their xylophone is really nice because they use wooden pieces, and then underneath it they use different size calabashes under it for the vibrations. So it gives like a really nice sound, you know.
It really sounds lovely. I love the sound of it. Yeah, nice. So from the Rainbow Rhythms to the Dread and Terrible tour, it has been a long journey, but I hope you'll stick with us for a good while still, because we really appreciate your music and the works that you do. So I can just wish you all the best for that. And you can check out Kelissa because she will still be touring throughout the whole of April, all over the place with Dre Island, Chronixx, Sing Fans Redemption. Everybody's gonna be there. If you don't happen to be in Europe, you can still check out Che Book. He's touring Australia. We have President Brown touring in the United States, and we have the veteran Horace Andy who is in Europe right now. So all those dates, you can check them out on Reggaeville.com. And I'm gonna see you again. I'm already looking forward to that at the Reggaeville Easter special. Right?
That's the one with Kabaka?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kabaka. Kabaka is going to be there. Gentleman is going to be there. Anthony B. Whole heap of people. Gappy Rangs. So how we going to call that?
Accurate. Wha Gwaan, brother. Wha Gwaan, Dortmund. This is Kabaka Pyramid from Kingston, Jamaica. I will say April 19th. It's all about the Reggaeville Easter special. With I and Anthony B. You don't know. House Rhythm Band. And then, of course, you have Chronixx, Kelissa, Dre Island, Zing Fence Redemption. And we say big up to Silly Walks, Discotheque Said Speed. Yeah, man, you don't know, say, the whole vibration will be accurate and immaculate. Dortmund, can't wait for forward. Give thanks and praise unto His Imperial Majesty. Celestial, accurate.
So Reggaeville Easter special in Munich, in Hamburg, and in Dortmund, of course, on Easter. So you can check it out with Kelissa and many, many more other wonderful artists. Come forth and celebrate with us. And speaking of celebration, today is a very special day because Kelissa did not just, you know, take time off her busy schedule, but she took time on her birthday to talk to us. So of course we couldn't miss out on like bringing a little something.
Oh, wow.
So happy birthday,
Thank you.
blessed Earth Strong.
I never expected
all
that.
the best. Oh, you might have to share with the rest of the crew.
Yeah, of course. Everybody can get a little slide.
Health and strength.
Thank
you so much.
Thank
all
you so
the
much.
best. Happy birthday and
Bless
all the
you,
best for the
Valentine.
music and personally.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
man, bless up, Munchy. Love you, mama.
It's done.
Wha Gwaan Munchy.